This is a preamble of sorts on what you want to look for in mods before you actually start slicing them up, leveling them, and deciding whether you're going to keep them or sell them. All right, so let's get to it. So, as you can see, we have our 6 mods pictured right here. And right here, you have primary stats. So, this will be the number at the top of every mod you see, primary stat wise. And next to it is all of the options you have when getting mods, what the primary stat could be. So on the left, you could see we don't have a lot of options. Square is always going to be offense, diamond's always going to be defense, circle will be health or protection. On the right side, you have more viable options. Now, some we really ignore 99% of the time. Sometimes we'll keep them. So, also, these blue ones right here, the only way to get them is from that specific one. So speed could only be on arrows, same with accuracy, crit avoidance. The triangle, you got crit chance and crit damage, you can only get there. And then potency, tenacity on the cross. And then everything else duplicates. So you could get it on a different area. Then set. So each mod you need a certain amount on your character to get a extra bonus. So if you just have, say, one crit chance mod, you only get 4% extra crit chance. If you have two, though, that bounces it up to 8. Same thing with crit damage, you need 4, offense you need 4, speed you need 4. Those are the big ones. So those 3 are the ones you would want to farm more often because you need more of those mods on your team. More likely than not, though, things like health, even though you get a lot of free ones, you tend to run a lot of triple health sets, so 6 health mods per tune. And then offense, if you have 4, chances are you're going to throw a speed set on, or a health set, sorry, on there. If you do 4 speed, you'll most likely put 2 health on there to make a set. So I would say health, offense, and speed are your most key ones. Where I'm at in my account, I've pretty much strayed away from crit damage altogether. Some tunes rely on it. If I'm going to do crit damage, though, I'll just do offense instead. Because the higher relic you get, the more likely offense will be better than crit damage for actually getting damage out of your tune. And then we're going to go down here. So this, I know it's a lot of numbers and may be overwhelming, but this stuff right here is probably the most important thing you'll see when regarding mods and numbers and slicing. So on the left, your primary stats. Again, that's the top number above those other 4 secondary stats, which is what's on the right here. So these are all of your primary stat options. And depending on what dot mod you have, this would be the highest number you can get. So when farming mods, we're going to ignore 4, 3, 2, and 1. You shouldn't have any of those in your account ever, except early on in the game. So 5 dots, if you take it to level 15, this is the max amount you could get for each one. So accuracy, you could get 12, crit avoidance, 24, and then 6 dotting it, taking it from gold to 6 dot, this would be the jump you get. So accuracy, even though very rarely would you ever have an accuracy mod, it more than doubles. It goes up by 18% from 12. That's a big jump. But the real ones I want you to look at, because these are the most important ones, health. It pretty much triples. That's a pretty big amount. So if you have a health mod, um, taking it to 6 mods or 6 stats, sorry, that would be a big improvement. So those are the most common ones, things with health primaries. Offense, even though it doesn't look like a jump from 5.8 to 8.5, that's a pretty big margin. So again, that's what You would want to do offense mods or offense primaries are better six dots than other ones. So look at things like protection from 23.5% to 24%. So if you get a protection mod, even if it has good speed and other good secondaries, I would never six dot it unless it's extremely good secondaries that go with it. So those are things you want to look at. Over here on the right, these are your secondaries. So those four other smaller numbers when looking at mods. These are what you can get maximum if you get the best of the best rolls. Now you never will, just the way it is. Like for instance, 30 speed is the maximum secondary. I have gotten one of those in my entire time playing of 4 years. Um, so again, you don't want to try and get the max stat because it's not going to happen. You want to get as close to the max stat as possible. So, uh, and then over here, just taking it to a six dot mod. So say you had the max amount of 49 defense or whatever you have, it's going to increase by 63% just by pumping it up. Again, and as you'll see in my later videos, I talk about how much better percent options are rather than flat options. So look at health. Health, whenever you six dot it, only increases by 26%. But if you have health percent on there, it'll jump up by 77%. That makes health percentages better when six dotting, and more relics on your tune, the more health they'll have, the better use they'll get out of percent increases. Same with offense, protection, things like that. So yeah, uh, maximum stats six dot. Again, you won't get this much. Very rarely will you ever get anywhere close to it. This is just to give you an idea of the increase you'll get from leveling things up, taking it to six dots, and just to give you an idea on how good it is. Say you have 12% protection on the six dot mod. Maximum possible is 15%. That's pretty good. So things like that you want to look for when deciding secondaries because good secondaries, even though speed will almost always be the most important, if you have good secondaries, you could have slightly worse speed and be okay. Secondly, if you have an amazing speed but your secondaries aren't the best, you would still keep the mod. It's only things like GLs, conquest tunes, things like that you really want to make sure you have the best of the best. Great speed, and then secondaries that match the kind of tune you want. Speaking of matching the kind of tune you want, you may use slightly different terminology, but this is a good mindset to have when deciding what kind of mods you want on each tune. Because there are tunes that are similar, but then you would want different mods on them depending on what they are. So DPS attacker, people that don't need to hit so often, but when they do, you want them to just destroy them. That would mean offense is more important than speed. On the other hand, things like SLKR, CAT, things like that, that want to go first, want to go often, you want to make sure they have more speed, and then offense is a nice bonus. And then these next stats are ones you want, but again, these are the priority on what you need. Same with tanks and healers. They want health, maybe some defense and protection in there, but then depending on what it is, healers you would want more speed because you want them to heal more often. Supports you want speed because you want them to get more abilities to support the team. And then after that, health and protection are necessary. But for tanks, you may not even need them to have next to any speed because you just want them to have health and protection to survive longer, and they don't need to take much, if any, turns. That would depend on what kind of tune you want for what squad, reading the tune's abilities, and seeing what more they align with. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. A lot of numbers back on this slide again. Even if you're not a numbers person, just screenshotting this and looking at every once in a while to see where your mod's at and compared to where it possibly could be, it will make all the difference in the world, trust me. And yeah, that is it. So let me just go back to all the things I showed you real quick so you can get an idea. And then, yeah, I will see you when we actually start doing mods.